Hello, what's going on? Shit. Uh, Welcome to 22 days before Ironman Louisville. I know that we have Augusta tomorrow and uh, Atlantic City, and we've got Chattanooga next weekend and a bunch of other stuff. But this is about Ironman Louisville. I am kind of documenting my training and thoughts along the way. This is 22 days out, and today is Saturday. I have had a big ride scheduled, and I spent all night, not all night, but I was actually intrigued because I had a 6-hour ride plan. I was going to Natchez Trace. I thought it was going to rain. I was in and out of, like, a lot of times I'll go through these cycles where I'll have these big workouts, and I kind of think I'm going to do them, and I kind of think I'm going to not do them all. But I had convinced myself that I was going to go to Natchez Trace, and I was just going to do it. I was going to do 100 miles of crazy elevation, and I was in. So I was loaded up all my nutrition last night. I got my bottles ready. I got everything ready. I had like a Ziploc bag of organized stuff, and really had it dialed in. And the one thing I don't like going out there at like 6, like a lot of people do, because I usually don't get enough sleep. Though I always try, as Ironman gets closer, to start getting up early, so I'm used to it, and I don't have that bad night of sleep, which I normally do. So whatever. But last night I fell asleep around 12, I guess, and I woke up at 7. And I was heading out there about 8. I finally got everything going, and I was just going to ride in my mind, I was thinking 9 to 3. Big deal, right? I was going to miss some football. Badgers play tonight. No big deal. And I drove out there, and about I'd say about 10 minutes away, I had this sinking feeling in my chest that I had forgotten my shoes. And I pulled off the exit, and sure enough, I didn't bring my bike shoes, and I'm 30 minutes away from home. That is just a bummer. So it's like, all right, 8:30 maybe or something, and I'm thinking, well, there's Trace Bike Shops is right out there, and I'll just go buy a new pair of shoes. I mean, I kind of need some, but the thing with my bike shoes is I've had them a long time, and they're just, they're not the prettiest things in the world, and they're not like probably the most explosive or whatever, but they're really comfortable. They just fit me well, and they work. I've changed out the cleats and stuff, and they're just, I mean, they're getting on the edge. But so I felt like I could buy a new pair, but they didn't open until 10, so I'm in like no man's land. So I drove back, and by the time I got back, I'm thinking, there's no way I want to drive back out there, and start at 10. So I got back here, and I threw my bike on the trainer, and the last 2 rides I've had have been on the trainer because I got that power meter, but I hadn't been riding much on trainer, and the 2-hour-and-a-half rides I had this week were just torture for me. And then, so I'm sitting here looking at, am I going to really do 6 hours on the trainer today? I mean, it was supposed to rain, and of course they were wrong again. I mean, come on. But I mean, it was like 70-80% chance of rain, and I don't think it rained all day. But so I could have went back out there and it would have been fine. I didn't mind the rain anyway. I was kind of looking forward to a little bit of it being in the rain. But anyway, so I got on the trainer, and man, I got, it's just the worst. I had the workout was 90 minutes warm up, and then 3 1-hour sessions at Ironman effort, race kind of effort. So I warmed up, and I had my power meter going, and that thing, I don't know. I like it. It's cool, kind of. And it does give me a little bit of an idea as to my feeling and everything, but I still don't know what the hell I'm doing on there. So I just started riding, and when I got to 90 minutes, I did my 1 hour in the zone, and it felt pretty good. But then I'm like, at what, just over 2 hours then? No. 2.5 hours. And I was thinking, my God, I'm not even halfway done. And I swear it's mainly it's just like how I feel on the saddle mostly is the worst part for me. It's not even the legs. So I don't know. I mean, that's the thing about being on trainers. You can't really get up and move around and coast, and you don't have that thing, which is obviously makes it a hell of a workout. So I guess long story short, shit, this is this even, I know you can hear me, but all right, maybe it is working. Um, I went 5 hours, which is like amazing to me. I don't know if I've ever done a 5 hour train ride, to be honest. And oddly enough, when you get towards the end, you start getting numb and it doesn't hurt as bad. And I probably could have wound it out to 6, but I was just so bored and so like stagnant. And I was actually at the 4 hour mark thinking about taking it off and riding the last 2 hours in the lab. But then I got to be like, I'm not doing that. I'm just going to do this. I'm going to get my 20-minute easy run in off the bike and then to see how that feels, right? And that's the interesting thing. I know, like we talk about on the podcast all the time. By the way, I'm Mike with the Crushing Iron podcast every Monday and Thursday for 200 episodes now. Um, and we'll be back Monday. But anyway, we talk about it a lot of this like overuse of bricks and how, when your legs are tired, it's maybe not always the best time to run. So there's a limited amount of off the bike running in my plan, but today was one of them, and I was really looking forward to it because I hadn't really done that kind of a ride yet, and then ran off the bike, and I got to tell you, it felt it was 20 minutes, real easy, and I think that to me is the thing is like it feels weird getting off the bike and running. We know that, and I don't. I really don't think that's the purpose of bricks. I think the purpose is to really understand how you're going to run off the bike. And sometimes you get into that, you're riding and you're doing 70, 80 RPMs for 6 hours or whatever. And your legs are moving when you get off. So you start running and you're kind of warmed up, but your legs aren't warmed up for running. Your running legs aren't warmed up, but your bike legs are. So you think you're warm and you have a tendency to go out a little, hot. And I think most people do that. And most people can kind of really put their run in jeopardy right away if they're not coming out taking it calmly. And that's really what I try to do is just go out and go slow, go to what my pace is going to be, what I'd like to run the first 3 miles at, and practice just restraint more than anything, because I've done it many times. You come up that bike, you're limp for a little bit, and then you come out and you're like, man, I feel pretty good. And then you start, the next thing you know, you're running like low 8s or mid 8s or something when you're really supposed to be running, or at least for me, should be running like a 10-minute pace. And then, hopefully it comes together. But yeah, as you can see, I'm a little tired. I mean, that takes a lot out of you. But I honestly, my legs feel pretty good. I took an Epsom salt bath afterwards. For you older people, you'll understand that. And I just rolled out a little bit because I got a big run tomorrow. For me, it's 220. It'll be the longest run I've done this year, other than split runs. But it probably will. It'll be close. It'll definitely be the longest one standing run I've done, and I'm actually looking forward to it. I'll probably, most people would love to do that early morning, but I'm going to probably do it mid to late afternoon. Hopefully it's not too hot. Hopefully I'll be able to get on that greenway and pick up some of that late day shade off the trees. And I don't really care about the weather. I'm just going to go do it when I wake. My body is all woke up and whatever. And it's plus to give me a little more time in between this ride and the run tomorrow. Just because it's a pretty big run. Like today's ride was a pretty big ride. Just to get it under my belt feel the enormity of 5 hours in the saddle on a trainer is like, I don't know. There's got to be some kind of like stats or formula, but to me, riding a trainer is way harder. You never stop, and you never really move. You can never really get, this kind of thing going. You can never. I did stand up a couple times and just ride slow out of the saddle just to kind of. But I don't know. It was tough, but looking forward to the run, and then this weekend it's starting to slow down a little bit, or this week, I guess, and then I think next weekend like I said, I'm going to bring my trainer to Chattanooga, and I'm already dreading a 4-hour trainer ride. I don't know what else to do because I don't want to ride the course with people driving around and probably a bunch of people riding it. And anyway, so that's that. I'm going to go watch the Badger game with a couple buddies, and I'm kind of indifferent to see. I want them to win, but I'm not like stressing about it like I usually do, which is good. I think I'm getting more of a level head with things in general. And I got to say, sticking with the plan like I have been and working pretty hard, I'm actually feeling pretty strong. I think it's a good feeling. It makes a lot more sense than just winging your plan, winging your workouts, and I can sense that I'm a little bit more prepared, I think, than last year. We'll see, of course. You never know what's going to happen, but doing these kind of rides, and that was, I don't know what the mileage was on that. I don't know if that is even accurate when you're doing trainer miles, but it wasn't that many. It was probably like 75 miles or something like that. But it felt like about 200. So, if nothing else, I think the distances aren't as intimidating to me this year. And I think I talked about that with the swim the other day, how an extra 500 didn't seem like it was, going to just completely trash me for a month. So that's sort of how I feel. I got off the bike. I didn't feel wiped out. A couple of weeks ago, or was it last week, we rode the trace on Saturday morning, and I was absolutely wrecked. And I don't know what that's all about. I guess that sometimes it just happens. And because the next day we rode the same or close to the same 4 hours, and I felt great. So it's a weird thing. You just got to keep showing up like we were talking about, and hopefully it'll work out better. But anyway, hope you're having a great weekend. If you're racing tomorrow, good luck. We'll be tracking you and supporting you. And if you have any questions about the podcast or Crushing Iron, go to crushingiron.com. And if you're on the email list, we've never sent out a newsletter, but I think this week might be the week. So putting that together. And if you're coming to Chattanooga, make sure to look for us and say hi. I'll be running around with a camera, Crushing Iron gear, and all that noise. Until tomorrow, I'll let you know how that run goes. And have a great night. See ya.